in. It's the first episode. See y'all in St. Louis.
Once again, you're going to get tired of seeing us today, but we're at the Aviator Hotel. Another great friend. You watch him on all the social media platforms. I'm talking about Papa Denk Beyond the Barricade right here. It's great to finally see you in person.
Finally, Herb, we are together.
Yes.
It's been like, how long? A year since we've known each other?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's only been through the social media.
That's
Thank
right.
goodness for social media. Otherwise, I wouldn't have met Papa Denk. He's had a bunch of our SICW greats on there.
That's right.
And we really appreciate that support. And you came from where?
Listen, I came from Long Island, New York, but I even had that dastardly Stephen E. on.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if he's going to. Well, he's scheduled to be in the matches tomorrow night, so I'm hoping he only waits till the match time, and then we'll get him out of here because he's terrible.
Yeah, he's bad.
Yeah,
but anyway,
you had to put him in his place a little bit.
I did a little bit. I told him he was out of luck.
Yeah. Well, tell our SICW viewers where they can find you, what you're going to be doing this weekend.
Well, I'm going to be hanging out here, hopefully talking to some of the legends on the podcast and the blog, and I'm just here to have a great time with you and everybody else from SICW.
I did it my way. Thank you, Terry.
All right, now we're back down. Look at the producer right there. She's doing it better than all of us. Yes, I'm going to tell you how that dance started.
Standing ovation, by the way. This is great.
No, not everybody's standing. All right, now, there we go. Tell you a little bit about the dance, and then we're going to do it, and you'll be surprised. I started doing that dance. I got it from my grandson. He was 2 years old, and we were trying to teach him how to walk. So we bought him a walker, and every time I put him in that walker, this is all.
Yeah.
So I just started doing it on TV. I took it to TV, but I would go back home. At that time, we were taping SmackDown. Then I'd go back home and look at it. So I'd go back home, and I'd look at it, and I'd get him. I said, look, I'm doing your dance. So one day, I got ready to walk out to do something, and I was going to walk out the curtain, and Vince was yelling at me, do that dance. I'm like, what dance are you talking about? And Vince starts doing it. And that's how the dance started.
3-6 Championship is here, most coveted title in all of YouTube, just so you know, is here. We got the Papa Denk bracelets here, we got some stickers, we got some cards, we got some of the guys that are going to be honored here tonight, like Cowboy Bob Orton, Bruiser Brody, of course, that memorial is just for him. And yeah, we're just hanging out, and we'll see what happens today at FanFest 2 from SICW. As you can see over there, the banner's over there, everybody's here, Herb is here. I'm hanging out with my good pal, the Big Texan. What is going on?
Man, just having a wonderful day. You see this crowd, all these legends here? Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Tonight we got a show. What's your role tonight at the show?
Man, I'm defending this here title here, St. Louis Hall of Fame belt, but I'm defending it against the guy who makes me look small. So it's going to be a hell of a match. I wouldn't call it a scientific match, though. Probably not going to see any drop kicks or anything during it.
All right. So let everybody know where they can follow you.
Oh, all my socials are just the Big Texan, or it's either Big Jim Hofarth and then Texan behind it. So all Big Texan stuff.
All right, make sure everybody follows the Big Texan right here. Woo! Awesome. All right, if you're not here this year, make sure you come back next year, right?
Oh, well, we don't know. We'll leave that open right now. Only if your son's going to come back and hopefully have the license and be in the ring.
All right. We'll find out next year. But for now, we are at FanFest 2 having a great time.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, I am hanging out with the one and only Stephen E., who wants to buy SICW or purchase, whatever you want to call it. What is up with that?
Papa Dinky, what did you just say? You said, do I want to buy it? Absolutely not. I don't want to buy it. I'm going to purchase SICW, and when I'm done purchasing SICW, all of this will be mine. That's right. FanFest 2 will just be a memory, but FanFest 3 will be under the tutelage of the Saudis and myself.
Wow, that's some big aspirations you have, Stephen.
Well, I tell you what, if you want to go big, you go big. If you want to stay in this little pissant town called St. Louis, then you're going to stay here. But we're going to go straight to Riyadh. We're going to Saudi. It doesn't matter.
Well, why do you want to go there? You don't want to keep it in the United States?
No, I don't want to keep it in the United States, and it's simple. The reason why I don't want to keep it in the United States is because the fans here in the United States don't appreciate the art like the Saudis will. The Saudis love professional wrestling. Everybody knows what happened a year ago about the purchase of some company in Connecticut that didn't go through. Well, when that company didn't go through, they looked to purchase some smaller companies that will grow to be a global phenomenon just like Connecticut. And I am going to be the one that takes him to the top.
All right, what about your little group you got, Devastation?
Devastation Incorporated, let me tell you what, Papa Denk, Devastation Incorporated, you got Atilicon on my right, you got Peyton Ayers on my left, you got Uber Destroyer on my left, and then you've got the exotic beauty, Lilith Khan, 5 feet behind me, where she's supposed to be. That's right, 5 feet behind me. She is a woman that has more respect in this business than anybody else. All these women that walk around here with their gear on, they have no idea that if you want to be a real woman, you need to conform to the Muslim ways. You need to conform, and you need to wear a burqa. You need to wear a hijab, and especially when you go out in public, Papa Denk.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that works here in America, sir.
It makes me sick to my stomach to sit here and look at all this skin that these women are showing. It makes me sick to my stomach. In fact, there's one man that I want to go ahead and pay tribute to, and that's Harrison Butker for the comments that he made this past weekend. What a great man, what a great American. Everybody should look at that man and say, that right there is what I want to be like when I grow up.
Well, I know one thing you're not going to get your hands on, and that is the 23/6 YouTube Heavyweight Championship of the world there, Steven.
Papa Denk, that YouTube championship, the 23/6 championship, is one of the most coveted championships on social media, and I want it. Everybody knows I'm the manager of champions, and I will not rest until I get my hands on that coveted championship, and if I have to go through you, I will, because I want that championship belt. In fact, is it for sale?
No, it's not for sale. It is by pinfall submission. Or, you know what? I need to go.
So I'm Chris Owens. I'm here with the Andre the Giant exhibit today. We've got pieces of clothing that he wore, many photographs that have never been published before or fans have seen, as well as some personal artifacts from his own collection.
That is amazing. And where can everybody find this exhibit?
They can find it here at SICW in St. Louis at the Aviator Hotel.
All right, thank you, Chris, for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I just want to know, what size shoe is that, though?
I think it says very large on the inside.
I'm sure it does. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm hanging out with Cowboy Bob Orton. You're going into the St. Louis Hall of Fame, sir. How do you feel about that?
Oh, man, it's great. It's great. I can't wait. Some of them guys that are on there were my idols when I was a child, and to be a part of that group, it's special.
It's very special, man. Your whole family's going to be here to induct you. How does that make you feel?
Great.
Of course it's great. Everybody's going to be here.
Yeah.
That's awesome, awesome. Congratulations, sir, and thank you for taking a moment of your time to hang out with me, Papa Denk, from New York's, well, Long Island, New York, really.
All right. Well, my pleasure. Hey, everybody in New York.
Thank you. All right, I'm hanging out with Bill Apter over here. How you doing?
I'm hanging out with you.
You're hanging out with me?
We are hanging out with each other.
Now, you had a great show last night. I enjoyed myself very much.
Well, thank you. Right now, you caught me just as I'm having a cookie.
Oh, cookie.
I'm going to show you my cookie trick. Are you ready?
Yes, ready.
I cannot tell you how I do that.
Now, we watched a slide of some of the championship that you had going on back in the day, right?
I've got a mouthful of cookie, but what the heck. This is Championship Office Wrestling. I still hold the title, defending it against New Jack, Diamond Dallas Page, Dan the Bum Severn, Jerry Lawler, Rey Mysterio, and many others.
Awesome. Now, I have my
By
own.
the way, many others was my toughest challenger.
Okay.
Many others.
Many others.
Yes.
Now, I'm a fellow New Yorker as well, just so you know.
Long
but
Island, yes.
I have my own championship,
What
the
have you-
23/6 YouTube Heavyweight Championship.
You know something? That belt might be gold, but this is real gold. This belt doesn't mean what the Cow Championship Office Wrestling belt means. Are you looking to challenge me, belt versus belt?
Well,
Let me show you something. You see this?
Yeah.
You see this? That's it. Cut it off.
He might hit me with the belt, but he didn't try to pin me, so I'm gonna get out of Bill's way before he tries to, wises up and tries to come after me. All right, I'm hanging out with Barbara Goodish. How are you, Barbara? Today we are at FanFest.
I'm telling you what an incredible fan fest we are having here. And the people that are here and the legends that are here, I mean, if anybody's there, you should have come or you should come.
That's right. Hopefully we'll be doing this again next year, but tell me what you're selling and where they can get all the Bruiser Brody stuff.
Well, you can always message me on Facebook because Facebook is good. Always message me. This is the incredible Powtown figure that came out, the most realistic one that has ever been. And then, of course, there's the book that I did with Larry Matisak, who I'm sorry is no longer here. But you want to know something about Bruiser? You get to know the family side, and then you get to know the wrestling side. So it's a great book. And then we also have his sister here with us today too.
Awesome.
Which is really good. But how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying myself at FanFest, and I'm so excited to meet you finally in person. It's been a year since we were on the podcast itself, but now we get to hang out for a moment, and I really appreciate you and everything you're doing.
I know. And then, they're raffling that picture that Dennis had done off of Frank, which is absolutely incredible.
That is incredible.
So I see people are buying a lot of the raffle tickets and everything. So I'm proud that he still remembered. I mean, I always say to the fans that without the fans, we would not be having this event.
Very true. And he's definitely remembered to this day, and he'll be remembered forever.
He certainly will. And for people like you that help it along, the family will thanks you.
Thank you very much. Barbara Goodish, make sure you follow Barbara Goodish. Any Bruiser Brody stuff you want signed or buy it from her. Message her on Facebook.
And he also has his own Facebook page. So there is a Facebook page that has all these incredible pictures and everything that's on there. So Bruiser Brody, Wrestling's Last Rebel.
That's right, Bruiser Brody. Check it out.
Huss.
All right, it's been a fantastic day right here at FanFest 2 from SICW. Had a great time. Some people spun the wheel over there. That was cool. We gave out some stickers, some bracelets, and a bunch of other stuff. Some people try to covet my title, but I still got it. And man, I can't wait. We got a lot more going on. We'll have the Hall of Fame coming up next, followed by SICW wrestling action, including the Bruiser Brody Memorial. That's going to be great. And then it's time to wrap up our trip to St. Louis over here in Missouri and head back to Long Island, New York, where, other things await. Titan Championship Wrestling, Wrestling Is Now, Victory Pro Wrestling, and other promotions out there. I can't wait to see what this year brings. Papa Denk Vlogs.
The Orton family is just not Bob Orton Jr. It all started back in about 1959.
So watching that video was very cool, and I noticed everybody had a reaction to my father when he was selling certain things in the ring. It made you feel a certain way, and that is just one of the things that he did, dare I say, better than anybody else. The people at the kids, the students at the Ace Wrestling Academy are very fortunate to have him as their mentor, because they're learning shit like that. That's where I learned that kind of stuff, and I owe everything, any success I've had in professional wrestling, I owe it to you, Bob. There's a lot of guys, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, guys like that had to find a way into the business on their own. And they didn't have a father and a grandfather and an uncle in the business. And my foot was in the door before I even knew I wanted to become a professional wrestler. So I had that opportunity because of all the hard work that you put in, all the thousands and thousands of miles driving up and down the road. St. Louis is wrestling town. It is now, it was especially a wrestling town back in the day. It was where, it was the heart and soul of the NWA. Anybody that was anybody, once you came through St. Louis, you were on your way to making it. Is there like a place I need to stand for that sky? Once you came through St. Louis, you knew you were on your way to making a name for yourself in this business. Chase Park Plaza, wrestling at the Chase. Chase Park Plaza, other than Madison Square Garden, is probably the most famous wrestling venue in the country. And my father didn't really work at Chase Park Plaza all that much, but my grandfather did. He was actually featured in the very first televised episode of Wrestling at the Chase in 1959, May of 1959. Yeah, so the Orton name goes way, way back. It starts with my grandfather, my uncle, and of course, my father, who, along with my mom, can't leave you out. You were there the whole time, man. You were the glue. But they moved 20 times on the dot before I was born, all over the country, from town to town, territory to territory. Finally, had a little baby named Randy, Randall with one L, actually. Thanks, Mom. In Knoxville, Tennessee, I was born, and I think we lived in a couple other places, Kentucky, Connecticut, eventually settled in St. Louis in about '83. And from there, my father started with the WWF and was a part of the very first WrestleMania, as we all just saw, and as most of you probably already know. And one of my favorite memories from my career is performing in my very first WrestleMania, WrestleMania 20, at Madison Square Garden. And the best part about that night, what made it a memorable moment for me, probably one of the top, if not the top memories for me, was the fact that my father was there and he got to watch as I was in the ring with the likes of Ric Flair, Mick Foley, and The Rock, and Batista, and it was just, looking back, you know, for him to think at the very first WrestleMania, to not have an idea of how this thing would end up the following year, the year after that, 20 years later, now 40 years later, like he was involved in the beginning of something that would take the world by storm and would be about as mainstream as it gets. He paved the way for guys like me, the kids, the student that he teaches twice a week at the Ace Wrestling Academy. He paved the way for all the guys in the back at my work, whether it's AEW, WWE, Impact, Ring of Honor, Japan. Men like him paved the way. But that's not all he did. He wasn't just a professional wrestler. Back then, the money earning potential wasn't like it is now. I think we all know that. And he busted his ass for every cent that he made. And what really impresses me about my father is the sacrifices he made to make sure that we had food on the table. Because even though his love was professional wrestling, he tried his hand at other things too. He bounced at a bar over in Alton, Illinois for a little while. I remember seeing him come home, and I'm probably 10, 11, 12 years old. He had to wear a white shirt. I'll never forget on several occasions him coming home just covered in blood. And you know, one of those famous lines like, "Don't worry, kid, it's not my blood." Yeah. My dad's the toughest guy I've ever known. That, without a doubt, the toughest dude I've ever known. He worked construction. He went in and owned a gym with a fella and kind of got screwed on the deal and just like didn't matter. Picked up the bootstraps and he went and he tried his hand at truck driving. Drove school kids to school, drove buses. He ended up selling cars, and this isn't a knock at all. This shows you what kind of man he is. He couldn't do what he loved, but he did what he had to do because he loved his family more than anything else. That brings us to where we are today. We're honoring him. Dad, you're already in the WWE Hall of Fame. And I'm honored that, just like Grandpa, you can be a part of the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame.
You see, Randy became a wrestler, but I totaled several cars. We had to swerve out of the way of those deer, didn't we? No, but I always knew Dad was tough because he would swim the entire length of our neighborhood pool in just one breath, back and forth like 3 times. Then he'd stand up out of the water and exhale his cigarette smoke. I was like, that's my dad. You know? Then he got out of the water in his little wrestling tights. And I was like, that's my dad. You know, it was cool growing up having a dad, you know, where I could be like, my dad can beat up your dad and make it look pretty good. But I always knew wrestling was real ever since my first spanking. I couldn't even sit down afterwards because all the chairs were broken. You know? I used to get beat up sometimes in school. I got off the bus one time, I got beat up by my bully, and I came home and told my dad. And the next day when I got off the bus with my bully, my dad's sitting there in the front yard watching us to make sure I sold it right, you know? You guys are a good crowd, thanks. But I wrestled Little League for a while, and my dad, he was like, don't tell, I can't do his voice. Don't tell, yeah, it's terrible. He was like, don't tell Randy, but you're actually better than him. But he was just trying to protect my feelings, because now that I think back, he was like, you know, you're so good at wrestling, you don't even need to do it anymore. You should quit, you're great. But here's the thing, it was good because I don't have wrestling in me. It's not what I wanted to do with my life, and it has to be what you're passionate about to do it. I see it in my brother, what he's put his body through, my dad, getting out of the chair, the fucking wrestling match he has with the recliner. You know, stand up. These guys put their, you know, your heart, your soul, your blood, your sweat, your tears, most of all your body. And I just want to say, like, Dad, we were really proud of you and we love you. And why don't you get your ass up here and accept your award?
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, this is the legend right here. Bob Orton Jr. And let's don't forget the entire Orton family standing here in the front row. We thank you for allowing us to have him entertain us all these years. Nick, where are you at? Here you go. Why don't you just come on up here? Bob, I tell you, all serious now, I love you. You know that. You got a great family. And what I really like about it is every time I call you and tell you I got a trip for you, you'll say, I'm done. I don't want to do it no more. When are we going? So this is a class of 2024 that we are so proud to have you in the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And taking a part in there with Grandpa, and we're really honored.
I really appreciate you coming. Because this means a lot to me. So thank you very much. I don't have a whole lot to say, never did. We love you, Bob. There you go!
There's one thing, I always learn something every day, and I learned something tonight that if by God there is a Fan Fest 3, I just found us an act. That's Nathan. How many want to see Nathan come back here? Fan Fest 3. That's the show, and it's all. What do you think, Jimmy Hart? It's a home run, baby. It's a home run. We have another presentation for you here. Got Orton number 24 in the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Thank you, sir. I hope it fits. If not, get it back to us and Nick will get you another one. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, right here, once again, the Orton family. Give it up for him. We got one more, and then we've got to get the room kind of cleared out. We got to get ready to set up for SICW Wrestling. But I'm going to. This next award is a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I, in 51 years, I can't think of anybody else that's more deserving of this. Let's hit the video.
I didn't know you were going to do this. This is crazy, man. It really is. You know, I've been so blessed being in the music business, starting off for, I guess, about 8 years with Dick Clark and their promotion. We came out of high school, and we were lucky enough to have a million-seller record, Keep On Dancing, and toured, like I said earlier, with the Beach Boys and Chuck Berry and a whole bunch of groups like that. But this is such an honor. People always ask me, what's the most important part of my life? I guess starting in Memphis wrestling, number one, but number two would be being part of WrestleMania 1 in Madison Square Garden. And, you know, like I've been so blessed, you know, and every year, for 40 years, I've gone back and, like I saw Randy at this last WrestleMania, and I've been able to go back and do WrestleMania, do radio and TV for him and autographs, and that's such a thrill for me too. But being here tonight, Cowboy Bob, we were on the first WrestleMania, baby. Yeah. SmackDown. I told Randy earlier, I said, I saw you on SmackDown last night. You were great, man. Anybody see that last night? It was awesome. And I really mean it from my heart. But listen, thank you guys so much. I know we've got to break down because we've got a great show for you guys tonight. Herb, thank you once again. You're a gentleman, and you've done a lot for this city. You've done a lot for this company, and we love you so much.